Hello everyone, I am Tanushree from Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. In this video, we are going to discuss about joint probability. Let's move on to the table of contents. What is joint probability? Formula and calculations of joint probability. What does it tells you? And joint probability versus conditional probability. And some examples. These are the table of contents. Let's move on to the joint probability. The term joint probability refers to a statistical measure that calculates the likelihood of two events occurring together and at the same point in a time. Put simply, a joint probability is the probability of event X occurring at the same time that event X occurs. In order for joint probability to work, both events must be independent of another, which means they are not conditional or do not rely on each other. Joint probability can be visualized using Venn diagram. Let's see formula and calculation of joint probability. Notation for joint probability can take few different forms. This formula represents the probability of events interaction where x and y two different events that intersect and p of x and y comma p of xy the joint probability of x and y, and this symbol refers to the intersection. And let's see, what does joint probability tell you? Probability in a field closely related to statistics that deals with the livelihood of an event or phenomena occurring, it is qualified as a number between 0 and 1, where 0 indicates an impossible chance of occurrence and 1 denotes the certain outcomes of an event. For example, the probability of drawing a red card from a deck of cards is 1 by 2, that is 0.5. This means there is an equal chance of drawing a red card and a black card since there are 26 of each in a deck, such as there is a 50-50 probability of drawing a red card versus a black card. Joint probability measures two events that happens at the same time. It can only be applied to situations where more than one observation can occur at a same time. So joint probability of picking a card that is both red and 6 from a deck is P of 6 intersection red is equals to 2 by 52, that is 1 by 26. Since our deck of cards has two red 6, the 6 of hearts and the 6 of diamonds. Because the event red and 6 are independent, you can also calculate the joint probability using this formula. Here, this symbol refers to the intersection. The probability of event X and event Y happening in the same thing, has the point where X and Y intersect. Therefore, the joint probability is also called the intersection of two or more events. A Venn diagram is perhaps the best visual tool to explain an intersection. This is the Venn diagram of cards. Joint probability versus conditional probability. Joint probability should not be confused with conditional probability, which is the probability that one event will happen given that another action or event happens. The conditional probability formula is as follows. This is the formula to calculate the conditional probability. This is to say that the chance of one event happening is conditional on another event happening. For example, From a deck of cards, the probability that you get a 6, given that you drew a red card, is P of 6 intersection red is equals to 2 by 26, that is 1 by 13. Since there are 2 6 out of 26 red cards, joint probability only factors in the livelihood of both events occurring. Conditional probability can be used to calculate joint probability. Let us see the formula to find out the joint probability. This is the joint probability formula. The probability that A and B occurs in the probability of X occurring, given that X occurs multiplied by the probability that Y occurs. Given this formula, the probability of drawing a 6 and a red at the same time will as follows. This By using this formula, we can calculate the number of cards we have drawn. Uh, Statisticians and analysts use joint probability as a tool when two or more observable events can occur simultaneously. For instance, joint probability can be used to estimate the livelihood of a drop in the Dow Jones Industrial Average accomplished by a drop in Microsoft share price, or the chance that the value of oil rises at the same time the US dollar weakens. Next is the example of joint probability. Let's highlight another example to show how joint probability work. This example uses die, and we want to find out the what the probability is that you will roll a 4 on each die when you roll them. Remember, there are 6 sides to each one. In order to determine the joint probability, we first need to determine the probability of each roll. The chance of rolling a 3 on first die is 1 by 6. The chance of rolling 3 on the second die is also a 1 by 6. Now, we can use the joint probability formula noted above to figure out what the joint probability is for this event by multiplying each individual event together. That is 1 by 6 into 1 by 6, that we can get 1 by 36. This means that there is a 1 by 36 chance of rolling 2 4 using a pair of dice. Next, what are the conditions for joint probability? Certain conditions must be met for joint probability to occur. The first condition is that the two events in question must occur at the same time. Another condition is the both events must occur independently of one another, such as the outcome cannot be impact each other. Can joint probability be greater than 1? No, joint probability can never be greater than 1. Joint probability falls between 0 and 1, where 0 denotes that the livelihood of two events occurs simultaneously is possible, while 1 indicates that their outcome is certain. The bottom line, probability refers to the livelihood that an event will take place, but when two variables are involved, you may have joint probability. This is statistical measure that you can use whether two independent events are likely to occur at the same time. It is an important metric for statisticians who used it to determine relationship between two set of variables, such as women and sports. But one thing is does not indicate through it how the two influence each other. So this is about joint probability. I'm going to end this video. So thank you for watching my video. Thank you.